The project is called the Canada-Philippines Alternative Transnational Economies project. It's a project that is funded by the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council of Canada through its Insight Grants program. And it involves a group of researchers both in Canada and in the Philippines. Canada and the Philippines are connected in some really important ways that are not often visible. We often think economically in terms of trade flows and investment flows, and those are actually negligible. But what is really important is the flows of migration and the people-to-people ties that exist between the two countries. For 4 out of the last 5 years, the Philippines has been Canada's #1 source of new permanent residents, new immigrants. In 2015, last year, more than 50,000 new Filipino permanent residents immigrated to Canada, and that's the largest number from any single country in a single year since Canada's immigration program began in the late 1960s. So what we want to understand is the ways in which those people-to-people flows can be mobilized to create inclusive, progressive forms of development in the Philippines that aren't based on corporate investment necessarily, that aren't necessarily based on large-scale trade flows, but are based on philanthropy, caring relationships, altruism, donations that come from the diaspora in Canada and which engage with communities in the Philippines directly in positive forms of development. We're trying to address the question at both ends, both at the Canadian end and at the Philippine end, and to ask critical questions about these practices. What we hope to do through the case studies that we're conducting is to identify instances where alternative practices are being implemented, whether it's through small networks of fair trade, whether it's through diaspora philanthropy, whether it's through Canadian-supported development initiatives, whether it's through hometown and alumni associations supporting communities back home. We're trying to identify these cases where Filipino-Canadian diaspora is supporting collectivized, equitable and inclusive development back home. And with these case studies, which we're going to publish as open access reports, we hope to provide examples that could be copied more broadly, whereby other communities in the Filipino-Canadian diaspora, and perhaps beyond as well, could look at these and say, here's something we could do too.